Got a message from Annika the other day saying that I should try and make this pineapple steak thing. This is actually something I've heard of before. I was watching an episode of Guga Foods like 2 years ago. It said if you wanted to tenderize a cheaper cut of beef, you blend up an entire pineapple. Now, the video she watched said just use pineapple juice, but Guga insisted that you need the enzymes from the entire pineapple, not just the good fruit inside. It has to be the skin, everything except for the sprouts, right? So I'm going to do that. Went over to Costco, got myself a whole pineapple. I'm actually going to do a little different. I want to use the fruit. Like I want to eat the fruit as the fruit. I don't want to waste the entire pineapple doing this. So here's the thing. It does make a cheaper steak taste better, but then you got to buy the pineapple. So I think it was like $2.99. So I'm just going to use the skin, the center, maybe a little bit of the juice, right? Blend it all together. It should do the same thing, and then I get to enjoy the fruit as well. Also got a flank steak from Trader Joe's. Cheaper steak, is it really? I don't know. It was $16.82 for one. I was gonna get like a bunch at Costco, but this is just like, it's too much. I don't need that much steaks. I'm trying to save money. But it was this, or you could get one ribeye. It's basically the same price. I could make two little steaks out of this. That's what I'm gonna do. So I have a control to compare it to. Not sure how long I gotta leave it in there for. I'm gonna double check on that. But yeah, I'm just gonna blend up that pineapple, get this thing going.
From the woods of Glenbower to the river to Soar, from the arms of my mother to the land ever pure, all I have to remember is the pride that I felt round the park Canada, where the boys never knelt. They'd go raring and tearing and fighting for love, for the land they called Killa and the Lord up above. Killa la 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 for the green.
All right, so it's been an hour. That's what it said online. That's how long you're supposed to leave it in there for, because the enzymes will essentially devour the steak if you leave it for too long. Part of the tenderization. Let's take a look. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you see the fibers beginning to stretch, come apart. And it's not got a deep red color anymore like the control does. Very promising. I am going to rinse this off, put them side by side. I do need to season this. Probably leave it for like 10 minutes just to absorb some of that before we get to cooking. Very, very difference in color. Gonna salt and pepper this one up and just wait like 10 minutes, I guess.
And the white I adore, for the parish to last evermore. 95.
Okay, so I allowed it to rest for 5 minutes, continue cooking, and I gotta say, a lot of residual blood, that's normal. Let's do a little feel test before we actually taste this bad boy. So, quite soft. And this is the control, by the way. This is the smaller pineapple-infused one. And to be honest, I think maybe because this one's thicker, the bigger one actually feels softer, the non-pineapple infused one. However, if I try to peel apart, look at that. Look at that. Look at these fibers. I was going to sear the side of it like I did with the big one. Couldn't do it because it's just coming apart. This one, however, you pull apart, there is some separation going. It was already there when I got it, but like not much give, all right? This one's a little bit firmer. They both look like they're gonna taste just fine. Let's start off with the control. Take an end piece. Fairly easy to cut through because it's been cooked perfectly. Now, it might be hard to see. And because it's the end piece, it might be a little bit more medium than medium rare, but looks pretty good to me. And after licking my fingers, it's seasoned pretty much perfectly. Let's take one bite. So I guess a flank steak comes from the abdominal area of the cow. And while it is a cheaper cut than, say, ribeye, there's not much fat on it, obviously, but it is reminiscent of like a filet. Maybe not quite as good as that, but it's like tender like that. If this is the control and it's as tender as this, it's pretty much as tender as a fillet steak is. Just a tiny bit more chew than a fillet steak does. But we're not really here to try that. We're more interested in the pineapple tenderized steak. I'm going to cut this into several bits. I'll take several bites. Like I said, the exterior is falling apart, but I'm not sure quite how much it penetrated through. Let's take a look at this. for rarity. Looks pretty good. Again, that one cooked a little bit faster, I think, because it was thinner. I did take it off before this one, but maybe I should have pulled this out a little bit quicker. Anyway, one bite. Oh yeah, look at it, it's dangling apart, falling apart. So here's what I'll say. It definitely works. Maybe not quite as much as has been advertised. Maybe I should have used something a lot tougher than that. But you know, the options at Trader Joe's for a tough steak were, you know, short of me buying like a chuck roast and cutting that up. Maybe I could have done that, but I didn't want to buy a whole roast. I just wanted to try it on an average steak. Now here's where it gets tricky, and I might have made a mistake, is that when I pulled this from the pineapple juices, it was still quite wet, and I should have allowed it to dry a little bit more before coating it with the seasonings, because although it is seasoned, it is not as well seasoned rather as the initial steak, because one, it had been stuck on there for longer, and also because that one was completely dry when I seasoned it, it stuck to it better. So this one's just slightly less seasoned than the control, but it's still, like, it's way more tender. Like, the experiment was a success, you know? And it's not really an experiment at this point because too many people have done it already, but I'm pretty happy with that. It's quite a lot of steak, so I think I'm going to cut it up, throw it in a sandwich. But I will give that pineapple infusion steak 7.9 out of 10. Let's review.